guys, welcome to Lovin Meets with Leila Smaily, a clinical dietitian. Today we got her insights in how to stay healthy during Ramadan. We talked working out, we talked coffee, and we talked protein.
Hang in there, you guys. Ramadan is about to end. And so if you are not subscribed to the Lovin Meets podcast, subscribe wherever you get your podcasts from, and do not forget to enjoy.
The Lovin Dubai show. Today's guest is Leila Smaily. She's a clinical dietitian and she's here to share expert advice on staying healthy throughout the holy month of Ramadan. We're so excited to have you. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.
So first of all, I know that Ramadan's going to end in a week, but what are the top tips that you can give us to continue, I don't know, our healthy journey?
Usually, when we get to the last 10 days or week, it just gets harder because everyone's kind of drained, a bit of dehydrated, the energy is a bit less. So I kind of just say, listen to your body and kind of like start really trying to avoid like sugary drinks because that's just going to make you happy, less energetic. Try to pick up a bit of your workout routine again just before iftar or after iftar. Try to sleep a bit more, so just to kind of give you a bit more energy through the last few days, because it's really hard, and this year, I don't know, from patients and everyone, I feel like it's harder than every year, and I don't know what it is. It's the weather, or I don't know what it is. And with a lot of gathering, it doesn't make it easier.
Of course.
Yeah.
I wonder, after fasting for this length of time, is there any kind of deficiencies that your body might notice? So if you've fasted for 20 days and your entire diet has changed, are you deficient in certain things, and should you consider that as you break your fast?
You know what? Yeah, if you're not having the right amounts of food, obviously, from all food groups, you're probably gonna get deficient, because a lot of people in Ramadan skip suhoor, so they're actually having like one meal maybe and a few snacks. You're eating less protein, so a lot of people lose muscle mass in Ramadan. A lot of people are iron deficient. They get iron deficient a bit because they don't eat as much red meat and iron, rich foods, and so on. So yes, deficiencies do happen, and we do have to take them into consideration, especially in the young ones who are not really watching their whole diet. Mm-hmm. And we tend to eat more carbs in Ramadan, so that also sometimes it's like, empty calories, like in sugar drinks and desserts and so forth. So yeah, we're not getting a full nutrient-rich diet as we do outside of Ramadan, because the window is not that big, right? Yeah, because we're breaking our fast around 6:30, and if you're sleeping early, let's say, that's a few hours, so people don't tend to get hungry, and then you have suhoor, you can only eat so much, but on the other hand, you have people who stay up all night and feast all night and then sleep during the day. I mean, so it really varies how you're doing it.
So, of course, because it's Ramadan, so as you said, there are a lot of gatherings happening. And after gatherings, what happens is people have, let's say, the iftar, and then just like an hour later, atayef comes, the dessert comes, atayef, knafi, and all of these things, they just like come, and it's like you're eating a lot, and it's a lot of sugar, right? But then it's like, it does not only fill you up, like you have like, let's say, like suhoor later on, and then you get like full, but then the next day it's like, oh yeah, you get really thirsty, and then people go like, oh yeah, you're thirsty because you had like sugary like suhoor and sugary things. So what is like the right, because like a lot of people go like, if you actually have this for suhoor, and if you have this like after iftar and after so on, you are most likely not to get thirsty or hungry.
Okay, I'll tell you what. The first thing that you want to do not to get thirsty is try to get your water intake between, like iftar and suhoor. So you want to, whatever, 2 liters or 3 liters or whatever you need to drink, you need to drink that, okay? Now, for me, ideally, is having a dessert should be a few hours after iftar, like with a protein or, like a snack then, because when you have your iftar, you are so full. So if you're having something right after, you're just, your digestion won't be happy, and you're kind of expanding your stomach, right? So kind of leave it more as a snack with a protein, and then in the morning have your suhoor. But that's not ideal for everyone, right? Because of all the invitations and the gatherings and so forth. So I would kind of say like do it in moderation. So kind of like when, you know, with my clients, we go through a meal plan where we kind of incorporate everything with your calorie needs, right? So I don't tell anyone not to have any dessert. That would just be not realistic, right? So we have to incorporate, you know, small amounts in moderation to kind of feel satisfied, but at the same time, you know, according to your goals to fit into your meal plan.
So interesting. So you create a meal plan for people specifically for Ramadan as well?
Yes,
so people,
I do.
So what are the steps involved to creating that?
Okay, so we would start off as suhoor. So you'd have a protein and fiber-rich meal for suhoor to kind of keep you up for a few, you know, for a few hours, which would have like legumes, yogurt, oats, eggs, you know, it would be really rich in protein and fiber with a fruit or, you know, something like that. And would have water, of course, at that meal. And then when it comes to iftar, you know, some people like to break it up, some people like to have it at once. So we can either do it both ways, but it would be like, you know, a set thing where you would have your date. So we would have a choice of dates. And then you would have your whatever samosas you're gonna have. So I always tell my patients that if you're gonna have it fried, have half the portion. If it's baked, you can have the full portion that's there. You'd have your soup, your salad, and then main course, which is what everyone would have. But when you kind of incorporate it into certain amounts and it fits into your calorie balance, then you know how much to eat and how much you're allowed. So you're more on track during Ramadan. And then we have a snack later on, which can be healthy if you're home, you know, like fruits and nuts and all that. And then if you're invited, you can pick a few things that you like in terms of desserts. But I never like say no to desserts because I know it, you know, in Ramadan, everyone's going to have it. So I might as well put it in moderation on the menu.
Sure.
Yeah.
That for sure is a thing. I mean, atayif is like, you can never say no to atayif.
Yeah, it's really hard, especially like when you're fasting all day, your body kind of craves sugar. So, you know, you want to have it within a good portion. And the other thing too about hydration that, you know, you guys were asking me, so it's very important to avoid like processed foods, you know, high sodium foods for suhoor especially, so you don't get thirsty all day.
Speaking of that, what is like the right meal that we should have for suhoor that can keep us on our feet for like longer hours regarding like work, and as well not feel as thirsty, you know, throughout the day? Because as you know, like, you know, throughout the day, let's say like people go to work and they just like shut down midday.
Yeah.
How can we avoid shutting down?
Look, I mean, your body adjusts. Like if you'll notice at the beginning of the Ramadan, it's really hard because, you know, you have caffeine withdrawal and all that, and you're like so tired. And then you'll find like midway your body picks up, you get used to it. But if you ask me like what are 2 meals for suhoor that would really keep you full, is eggs and fool. Like fava beans, they really make you full for quite a bit of time. So you'll feel satisfied, you know, and, you know, not hungry for a while. So those 2 things, I feel like they sit in there. Yeah, especially eggs because it's quite high in protein. It has some fat. So it's done healthy way, like a good omelet. It really keeps you going for a while.
There's so much into it. So it's like if people want to kind of maintain a healthy weight, is there anything there on that? Because I think some people are concerned that they lose weight, some people are concerned that they overeat. What's the kind of the stable approach?
Stable approach would be kind of to continue what you've been doing. So if you were working out, like you would continue to work out, and you've kind of like, if you usually take 3 meals outside of Ramadan, you know, your suhoor becomes your breakfast. If you just want to do the easy way, your suhoor becomes your breakfast, and then your other 2 meals would be either grouped into iftar and then the snacks into the snack after, or just kind of in 2 meals. Because some people can't eat so much at iftar, so they break it up into 2 meals. The majority gains weight in Ramadan nowadays. So, but a lot of people do take advantage, honestly. And because it is, if you take advantage of it and you detox a little bit, kind of watch what you're eating, because you're already fasting. So it's really just controlling in those non-fasting hours. So it makes it a bit easier.
To those that are so used to coffee, what is the one tip that you can, I would say, like give them to just like, I would say, like pick up without coffee, other than getting used to? Because like, you know, for example, like for me, I would either have tea in the morning or something like that, you know, but now that I'm fasting during Ramadan, I'm like, ugh.
It's hard. I mean, getting enough sleep, funny enough, is the number one thing to kind of not make you feel so tired. And before Ramadan, if you kind of wave yourself off slowly in the last week off caffeine, you won't have that feeling. But I think in Ramadan, one of the biggest things that makes everyone so tired is not getting enough sleep, because you're staying up a little bit more to eat a bit, like to have at least a window to get your snacks in, to get your water, and then you wake up for suhoor, and then maybe you wake up like with the kids, or you know, if you have work early like you guys, so it's really hard. So your sleep is interrupted, so it makes you more tired. And I think that is one of the things that make you really tired, and hydration. Yeah, if you're dehydrated, you're gonna feel tired as well.
Speaking of hydration, the couple of iftar I've been at, once you arrive, there's always the most beautiful mix of interestingly colored drinks. So maybe not like a Vimto, but they're always at iftar. There's like a dark orange and a bright red and a deep beetroot color. But when you taste them, they're specifically quite sugary.
Yeah.
So what are your thoughts in approaching the drink strand at iftar? When I see that, should I just go straight for a water, or can I take a juice?
I would skip all that, because they are empty calories. They're just sugar calories. They're gonna make your blood sugar spike up and then and then go back down, and then you're gonna feel hungry and crave more sugar, and then you're gonna go for more. So I would skip all that. I always advise to go for flavored water, where you have some fruits and water, and that just tastes as good. If you get used to it. Now, I mean, if you're on the odd weekend, you're out and you want to have some jalab, or, you know, it's okay. But don't make it a daily thing in Ramadan, especially with meals, because it's a lot of sugar. Yeah.
Those are the delicious ones.
In moderation. It's okay. In moderation.
I mean, luckily, I don't like them, which is actually works for my benefit, you know, because if I would like them, I would just like, you know, like chug on them. but like, I have a question for you. So technically, working out.
Yes.
Is it good to work out before iftar or after iftar?
Okay. Now, if you're gonna if you're working out before iftar, you're really burning more fat, right? Because you've been fasting all day and most of your glycogen stores are depleted, so you're gonna be in a fat burning zone. But you can't do high intensity before iftar, because I mean, you might faint or get dizzy, or you know, if you're not used to it. So you would have to do moderate intensity, which is great. If you're gonna work out after iftar, which is as good, you'd have to wait 2 to 3 hours after iftar. Then you can do high intensity if you hydrate well after. So I mean, whatever works, honestly. I just say they're both as good depending what you're looking for. But just keep a workout routine, even if it's 2 to 3 times a week, because we tend to lose a bit of muscle mass in Ramadan. So it helps you maintain your muscle mass if you keep your workout routine.
It sounds like the overall summary is just everything needs to be conscious. So make a conscious effort to move, make a conscious effort to watch what you eat, because I think if you're super hungry, you just go all in and then you probably regret it later. As we come to the end of the show, do you have a final word of advice for people coming into the last week? As you said, it's difficult, but just a final word of advice for people fasting during the holy month.
I would say just, you know, hang in there. Try to pull through this week. And if you have been off track or you haven't been doing great, just try to come back and, you know, try to come back on track. Even if it is the last week, it's not late, you know. Try to get more sleep, try to walk more, whatever activity you can, you know, and try to avoid fried foods and sugary drinks. Just what we say for the first, you know, or the whole part of it. But in the last stretch, you needed a bit more to get the energy going.
So true. Okay, a huge thank you to Leila for joining us on the show today. Thank you, Farah, for joining us. The Lovin Dubai show is back with you live tomorrow morning from 8:30 a.m. Bye-bye.